On Saturday, April 12th, the goddess of love, Venus, will station direct, completing its 6-week long retrograde and helping alleviate the stress and tension it has caused, easing the drama and misunderstandings in relationships, and bringing a newfound sense of confidence and self-acceptance. Let's take a closer look and break it down for all 12 signs. My name is Anastasia. I'm a traditional Western astrologer and astrology teacher specializing in natal, relationship, predictive, locational, and election astrology. If you enjoy my work, please take a few seconds to leave me a like, a comment, subscribe, and press the notification bell. Watch more of my content. That is how YouTube algorithm shows my content to more people, helps me grow. Additionally, you can say thank you by buying me a tea, a coffee, a croissant, a token of appreciation. Thank you for that. Before we dive in, if you're ready for a personal one-on-one consultation, you seek personal guidance, book a reading at anastasiadoesastrology.com. There's a variety of options, different durations. We can look at your natal chart, which is a more general, beginner-friendly reading, helping you see your strengths, weaknesses, areas of improvement, karmic promise. There are predictive readings like year ahead or solar return. The latter is best done around your birthday. Relationship consultation, locational astrology that can tell you which areas of the world work best with your chart, and electional astrology helping you figure out the best date for your wedding, your business, and so much more. All of that is on my website, as well as the Natal Astrology Blueprint of the Soul course. It begins in September. And it is meant to create more peace within you by building self-understanding. Life is unpredictable. Sometimes it's hard for us to focus on happy things. We tend to, as human beings, often prioritize the negative and the fears that we have. And knowing astrology is a tool that can help you gain control. It can help you know when difficult times are coming without relying on an astrologer. I can tell you when they're coming, but wouldn't it be better if you knew, if you could read the chart and you could understand what's happening? It can help create more inner balance, more peace, more ease within, and then it spills out into the rest of your life and into your relationships, improving your connections with other people. Find that and register at anastasiadoesastrology.com. On there, you can also pick up some of my magical creations. In this video, I'd like to highlight my Exalted Venus candle, which is Venus in Pisces direct. Beautiful. The candle is green and it's decorated with aquamarine stones, which are the stones of Venus. It captures the powerful Venus in Pisces. Very loving, very romantic, great at manifesting connection, great at creating love that is soulful and true and all consuming. So it's really great for creating love and improving all of your relationships, as well as creativity, inspiration. Venus in Pisces is highly poetic. If you were born with Venus retrograde natally, your Venus in Virgo, Aries, or Scorpio, your Venus in the 6th, 8th, or 12th houses, this is the candle that is really great for you. Find it at anastasiadoesastrology.com. So today we're talking about Venus going direct. Venus is the planet connected to love, understanding, attraction, manifestation, beauty, and art. Venus represents a lot of good things in life, right? If you're thinking of having a good day, that would be a Venusian experience. The light is green everywhere. People smile at you. The person you love gets you a present, gives you a tight hug. You spend the night together. It's just like a lot of sort of happy experiences that Venus represents. When she goes retrograde, there is a suggestion that something has gone awry and we need to review, rethink, revisit relationships, connections, beauty, art, style. So when Venus is retrograde, she's kind of going back into her own psyche, into the challenging aspects of relationships, and tries to find some integration. Whenever the planets are retrograde, we're doing a lot more inward processing versus outward action, right? As when Venus is direct, she might bring you a cake. When Venus is retrograde, she might bring you a big life question that you're sitting with. So Venus has been retrograde since March 1st. Finally, on April 12th, she turns direct. The retrograde began in Aries, 10 degrees, 50 minutes of Aries, and it ends at 24 degrees, 37 minutes Pisces, which means this retrograde has been especially crucial for you if you have planets between 0-11 degrees Aries, Libra, Cancer, Capricorn, and planets between 24-29 degrees Virgo, Pisces, Gemini, and Sagittarius. Now that she's turning direct, we've just had Mercury station direct on April 7th, and now Venus joins in, which can improve communication, which can boost your sense of self. Oftentimes, Venus retrograde periods highlight insecurities in love, in art, in style. There might be a sense of like, what am I doing? What am I wearing? What are all these clothes, right? Like, what is this makeup? What's happening with my skin? Like a lot of kind of uncertainties and questions that are hard to answer in the moment. It can also bring up relationship questions. It can bring up exes back into your life. So when Venus is direct, we start to slowly but surely, right? You're not necessarily gonna immediately notice the improvement in all areas, but on April 12th, Venus stations, and stations are events of their own magnitude. They represent the planet kind of, astronomically, the planets don't really move backwards. Retrogradation is a phenomenon that's connected to the difference of speeds between planets and Earth. And so from here on Earth, when we're moving, we can be both moving this way, but if one is moving slower than the other, there may be that perception that as you're moving faster, the other one is going backwards. I hope you enjoyed my hand demonstration, but it's a phenomenon that is perceived, right? The perceived difference of speeds. You can think of it as being on two trains moving in the same direction. When one is moving slowly, the other one seems to be moving ahead, and the slower one seems to be moving backwards. So I hope this makes sense. So the direct motion, when the planet stations, it's sort of this focused attention. On April 12th, we also have a full moon in Libra. So not only it's Venus stationing, there's a full moon in a Venus-ruled sign. So there are these kind of major culminations and developments. But overall, expect more confidence, expect more clarity. If you've been questioning your style, questioning your brand, questioning your goals, Venus and Mercury together starting to move direct will bring answers. Expect more understanding in relationships. If you are in a committed partnership and things have been feeling a bit difficult, there's going to be more understanding. If you have played with the idea of getting back together with your ex, you're likely going to make a judgment call and either commit to it or let it go. It is the time when you're starting to feel sort of more confident spending money, making romantic decisions, making creative decisions, investments, and things like that. What's interesting too is the entire month of April, pretty much the entire month of April, Venus and Saturn are very, very close. She conjoins Saturn for the first time on April 7th, and then she conjoins Saturn again on April 24th. So April 7th maybe brings or brought some kind of realizations that in order to have full commitment or in order to get the rewards, you have to do more work. And then by April 24th, you will most likely figure things out and can expect either recognition for the hard work you've been doing or commitment to a relationship, a project, a vision, or a sense of needing to let something go and rethink, right? Even though we've been doing rethinking, now perhaps you have the answers and you just know that whatever it is not quite working out for you. So let's talk about what this means for your sign. Where will you notice it? Before we dive in, if you're ready for a personal consultation, book one at anastasiadoesastrology.com and register for Natal Astrology Blueprint of the Soul course to create more peace and ease within yourself and in your relationships. If you are a beautiful Aries rising, Venus is stationing direct in your 12th house. She began her retrograde in your 1st, then moved into your 12th. And now, while she's in the 12th house, you are gaining answers about your psyche, about your self-defeating tendencies. You're starting to feel perhaps more clear on what needs to be released, what bad habits you're going to work through on letting go, especially the habits that affect your maybe wellness, your health, your identity. Like you might be realizing that you drink a little bit too much wine and you should focus a little bit more on exercising and building strength so that you age more gracefully. There might also be, with Venus stationing direct in the 12th house, something from the depth of your psyche, something from your blind spot becomes more conscious. Whether it is, like I said, a bad habit, or it's a creative passion, or it's something you need to heal. But I do like this because the retrograde started in the 1st, went into the 12th, and now we're gonna retrace the steps moving from the 12th into the 1st. I do like this as what I already said, sort of kicking bad habits to the curb so that you welcome more health and wellness and happiness. Or another variation of this could be embracing your love for yoga, embracing your love for astrology, embracing your interest in Reiki and making that a part of your personality. So bringing this hidden passion and making it official. How has the retrograde been for you? Please share in the comments below. Have you noticed that it affected maybe your finances, maybe your partnerships, relationships, your health, identity, style? Because Venus also rules your house of money and your house of relationships. If you're seeking more guidance, visit AnastasiaDoesAstrology.com and book your reading to talk to me in person, or register to join Natal Astrology Blueprint of the Soul if you're seeking more inner peace, more happiness within and in your relationships. For the lovely Taurus rising, Venus is turning direct in your 11th house. And in the last 6 weeks, she began her retrograde in your 12th, moved into your 11th, and now she's going to station in the 11th and travel again into the 12th. So expect better self-understanding. Expect more clarity about friendships, especially if there were some kind of conflicts, friction with friends or even siblings, like your older sibling potentially. If you've dealt with any rebranding, any sort of networking issues, or questioning your social media approach and how you're meant to present yourself, or what you want to do and like maybe what kind of social media channels you want to start, Venus turning direct will bring answers that way too. The question that comes up here is, who are you associating with, and whether people around you are truly supportive and spiritual, or maybe sometimes you're leaning more heavily into people-pleasing tendencies and just trying to be nice with everyone. So it could be your opportunity to kind of question who deserves your kindness and who maybe doesn't deserve your kindness, and set some boundaries in place. If you're ready for more, visit AnastasiaDoesAstrology.com and book your reading, and register for Natal Astrology Blueprint of the Soul course to find peace within yourself by understanding the movement of the planets, by understanding the cosmic energy you're made of, and then creating happy and stable relationships around you. Classes begin in September. Register today. If you are the beautiful Gemini rising, Venus is turning direct in your 10th house. And over the course of the last 6 weeks, you may have dealt with miscommunications with bosses, or some issues in friendships, or maybe like overall insecurity around your goals and your purpose and your priorities in life, right? Maybe you started by wondering what it is that you're dreaming of, and that led into questioning what you do for a living. And so now that Venus is turning direct, she should bring more clarity in your professional sector. Your communication with your bosses is likely to improve. After you've done this soul searching, you can now speak up about what you truly desire. And Venus being currently in your 10th house and being direct finally is also the time when you're really prioritizing doing work and following pursuits that make you happy. It may be creative, it may be a social pursuit, it may be even something that involves social media, it could be something that involves creating beauty in the world, right? Whatever it is, Venus going direct in the 10th house, and let's not forget Mercury is also already direct here, could be the time when you are more clear about your goals and you're also more willing to take a stand and speak up and go after your dreams. Share how this resonates. How has the retrograde affect you, your friendships, your career? I'd love to know. And if you're seeking more guidance, visit anastasiadoesastrology.com. Book your reading on there to get a personal consultation and register for Natal Astrology Blueprint of the Soul if you want to have more peace within and more peace in your relationships, because it starts from understanding yourself, understanding the language of the stars you're made of, and then it all spills into your relationships as you become more true to yourself and your relationships improve. For the lovely Cancer rising, Venus is turning direct in your 9th house. So ever since March 1st, Venus has been retrograding from your 10th house of career, status, reputation, into your 9th house of education, travel, writing, publishing, beliefs, and philosophies. And so, it's funny, there's just been recently a Cancer rising who said that she's tired to only talking about career. But that is where the action is happening for you guys right now. 10th house is not just career. 10th house is also what you're known in the world, right? You might be known as a mother, you might be known as a wife. It's like your public sort of reputation. So don't take it to mean only career. But chances are the retrograde brought up a lot of questions around like, who am I? What do I want to be known for? What am I kind of striving towards? It could have marked the time of stagnation in your career, or like a sense of burnout, uncertainty in terms of which path to choose, the direction to go into. And it could have encouraged you to lean into education, right? If you feel confused about the next steps, how about you go and maybe take some classes? There could have been a need to find teachers and mentors. There could have been a need to apply for some documents, maybe pass some exams, get like continuous education in order to be closer to your ideal career, even an opportunity to travel. But I think Venus turning direct, so Venus turning direct here will speed things up. You may hear from the school you've applied to or you're dreaming about. You may hear back and get a visa that you've been applying for. Overall sense of clarity around your beliefs and your guiding principles is also likely, and you may notice that people who are like teachers, mentors, even astrologers, right, or astrology-wise kind of spiritual people can be giving you more insight and more guidance, or like in general you may feel like you've been through the ringer and now you're more inspired. And let's not forget Cancer risings. Jupiter is about to enter your 1st house in June, and we're so close to it. I can almost taste it. I'm so excited for this transit, so excited. So please share how this resonates. How has the retrograde been? And if you're seeking more guidance, visit AnastasiaDoesAstrology.com for a personal reading and register for Natal Astrology Blueprint of the Soul course to create more peace, more stability and balance within you so that you're not tousled in the air and flustered by the difficult life events, so that you are more content. You can always be happy, but you can definitely be like an island within yourself. And through taking care of yourself, you can also build better relationships and create more peace around you. Find it at AnastasiaDoesAstrology.com. Classes begin in September. For my lovely Leo rising, Venus is turning direct in your 8th house. Since March, she stationed retrograde in your 9th house of education, travel, writing, publishing, legal matters, and went into your 8th house of healing, shared resources, debts, loans, taxes, inheritance, agreements. So you could have been dealing with some legal matters. You could have been dealing with some questions involving education. If you work in education, maybe there were some shuffling around of things. Maybe you've renegotiated your salary, or reapplied for some student loan forgiveness. So there could have been a lot of kind of important developments here. And as Venus turns direct, you can expect more clarity over your future steps, especially if we're talking about like education, where you want to live, who you want to be in the future. There may be more opportunities to improve your finances too. Even this could affect your partner's money, because 8th house is the partner's money. So if the retrograde touched your partner more than you, maybe they've dealt with some kind of work uncertainty, Venus turning direct will bring monetary gains to you through the partner, so their finances might improve. Forward momentum when it comes to inheritance, when it comes to debts, when it comes to other people owing you money, right? There is a lot of positive developments that can come through this transit. Opportunities to pay off debts, even like a debt forgiveness, a student loan forgiveness, and maybe just a chance to kind of entangle yourself from an unhealthy dynamic, or possibly even commit to a new partnership, new relationship, new way of spending money, like opening a joint bank account with your partner, negotiating a better salary. The possibilities are quite broad and wide. I'd love to hear how the retrograde affected you. If you're seeking more guidance, visit anastasiadoesastrology.com and book your one-on-one face-to-face consultation with me. You can also register for Natal Astrology Blueprint of the Soul course to create peace within you by understanding astrology, learning to speak the language of the stars, and through creating more stability within, improving your relationships and attracting people that are right for you. Find it at anastasiadoesastrology.com. Classes begin in September. For the beautiful Virgo rising, Venus is stationing direct in your 7th house. Since March 1st, Venus has retrograded from your 8th house of shared finances, resources, debts, vulnerability, engaging with other people, negotiating with other people, and into your 7th house of partnerships, contracts, agreements. So you could have been questioning some things, right? Maybe you felt unfair, that things weren't quite fair in your romantic relationship. Maybe you've questioned how much you're getting paid and wondered how you can improve your income. There could have been a lot of sort of like inner questioning of things, and like talking about maybe matters with your romantic partner, with your business partner. Now that Venus is turning direct, the answers will come. It will be easier to negotiate. If you've dealt with miscommunications or people being non-committal, you're likely to see more clarity, more commitment. If you've had an ex come back into your life, you're maybe deciding to finally set them free, or you're choosing to give a relationship a proper try. But expect maybe an end to some kind of painful negotiation, healing, darkness facing process, and more ease when it comes to moving relationships forward, making connections, signing contracts, and transforming relationships of all kinds. Please share how the retrograde affected you. If you're looking for more guidance, visit anastasiadoesastrology.com and book a personal natal predictive relationship reading. Register for my natal astrology course. It begins in September, and it can create more peace inside of you so that you're content and self-aware, and that through that sort of inner strength, it resonates and it spills all around you, and it improves your relationships. Find it at anastasiadoesastrology.com. For my beautiful Libra risings, Venus, your chart ruler, is turning direct in your 6th house. Since March 1st, she retrograded from your 7th into the 6th, suggesting a need to make some improvements to your relationships. There could have been like these very kind of practical steps that you needed to take. Maybe you needed to, you know, figure out that what kind of car you need to have to take your kids to schools, or you needed to make changes to your home, right? Maybe you've moved together with your partner. There could have been some really important developments in relationships, especially with that eclipse we just had on March 29th. What was that like for you? Dear Libra risings. But it's like, you know, it's from the 7th into the 6th, so some kind of like renegotiating of the work contracts or renegotiating of the marriage contract, some type of like very practical, let's shuffle our things, let's spring clean, let's renegotiate things, let's, you know, sort of arrange things better. All of that stuff could have been happening at the time of the retrograde, as well as maybe a professional attunement or professional or like even health related adjustments that you needed to make. So now that Venus is direct, all of that is going to start to move forward. There is going to be more clarity. You may be more aware on how to pursue a difficult project, how to take care of your duties, take care of your to-do list. Your relationships will improve most likely too, especially those with romantic business partners and colleagues. I can see more developments there. And just like sort of, it's your chart ruler. She turns direct in the sign of exaltation, Pisces, right? And I'm showing this because it's exalted Venus, Venus in Pisces. Love this candle. You guys should get it. Or get Venus in Libra 3 or 2. But yeah, like there is, you know, there's more clarity, more awareness when it comes to your passion projects, sort of labors of love and parenthood. And like anytime you have to serve other people, if you felt burdened and lost and confused, things are likely to speed up and feel better. Speaking of feeling better, visit AnastasiaDoesAstrology.com and book your personal consultation to talk to me about your natal chart, your year coming up, your relationship. I also do locational readings, helping you figure out the best place in the world you should move to, and electional readings, helping you choose the best date for your wedding, an important event, business, elections, and things like that. All of that is at AnastasiaDoesAstrology.com. Register for my course, Natal Astrology Blueprint of the Soul. The goal I have in mind is to help you apply astrology to create more peace and comfort within. So you're not bothered by the difficult events. I mean, life will throw things at us all the time, right? Like there will be challenges always. But if you are self-aware, if you know what you've been through, if you know who you are, and astrology can give you the knowledge of that 100%, then you are more stable, you're more happy, and your relationships with other people are also more stable and happy. Join us. If you are a beautiful Scorpio rising, Venus is stationing direct in your 5th house, the house of pleasure, romance, sex, woohoo, all the fun things. So Venus has retrograded from your 6th into 5th between March 1st and April 12th. And there could have been some health related concerns involving your children, involving your significant other, maybe just overall sense of overwhelm, overload, having a lot on your plate, dealing with lots of long lists and trying to figure out a better way to move through your tasks so you have more pleasure, so you have more joy and more time for dates and more time for spending time with your children. Now that Venus is turning direct, the answers are going to start to come in. You can expect to even experience more sort of attunement with your significant other, because sometimes Venus retrograding through the 5th house can create just a sense of like, there's so much to do, who even has time to go on a date? So Venus turning direct can remind you what is worth building and what is worth pursuing and investing into in your relationship. It can bring again that sort of sense of clarity in terms of what you should pursue, what you should work on. Any kind of practical adjustments you've been considering, now is the time to make them, right? If you've been looking at kindergartens or you've been considering moving out of your ex's apartment so that you can live more freely, There might be a sense of kind of connection with your inner self, because fifth house is very much about like self-expression, personal pleasure, personal joy. So you may find yourself becoming more kind of aware of what brings you pleasure and joy and what kind of passions and interests truly make you happy. If you're seeking more personal guidance, visit anastasiadoesastrology.com and book your reading today. Get a natal chart to begin and dive into it to understand yourself. Year ahead is great for looking at the year to come. Solar return is similar, but best done around your birthday. Relationship readings are good for compatibility analysis. You can also book a natal or express and specify that you'd like astrocartography breakdown telling you which places in the world are best for you to live in, as well as election astrology. That, like, the express reading is probably pretty good for that. Just make sure you specify what you're seeking. And register for Natal Astrology Blueprint of the Soul course. It can help create more stability and peace within you and improve your relationships in the process, because when you are happy within, it shows, and it attracts the right partner, it attracts the right job, it attracts the right money, right? It all starts with just sort of treat yourself well. Treat yourself with knowledge and compassion, and everything else will get better. For the lovely Sagittarius rising, Venus is stationing direct in the 4th house of home, family, comfort, and security. Since March 1st, Venus has been retrograde, starting in the 5th house of romance, pleasure, parenthood, children, going into the 4th house. And so questions could have come up around love, around relationships, around parenthood, commitment. Maybe you've considered moving in with your partner, and maybe you've considered dating. Maybe you've looked at your past and wonder at how your childhood influences your dating patterns now. There could have been a lot of soul searching. Maybe a sense of stagnation in your love life and like a strong desire to make things better. Maybe a sense of your current living situation not being quite aligned with where you want to be, or your relationship with your family being kind of dragging you down or making things more difficult. And so Venus turning direct in the 4th house will bring you more answers, and the answers most likely will include improving your living situation, right? You're maybe realizing that in order to kind of feel happy, you need to have a space to paint, and so you need to rearrange some things in your house. Maybe, again, sort of realizing that you need to move, and there might be more opportunities to find a home that is good for you, that is good for your children. Opportunities to kind of start a family or connect with your family or feel like a family with your significant other are also likely, as well as more kind of clarity and healing when it comes to familial relationships, when it comes to paternal, maternal influences on your love life, I think is quite likely here. But like overall, just sort of sense of comfort and ease, I think. And if you've dealt with any exes around the time of the retrograde, the Venus turning direct can also bring clarity when it comes to those. If you're seeking more, visit anastasiadoesastrology.com and book your reading on there for a personal consultation. Natal, predictive, relationship, locational, electional astrology are the main branches I work with. And register for Natal Astrology Blueprint of the Soul course, because astrology can help you build self-awareness and create a lot more peace and stability within, so that you show it to the rest of the world, you shine that energy of confidence, and you attract the right people, the right relationships, the right career, and the right opportunities. Register at anastasiadoesastrology.com. For the beautiful Capricorn rising, Venus is turning direct in your 3rd house, and since March 1st until April 12th, she's been retrograding from your 4th house of home, family, comfort, and security into your 3rd house of siblings, neighbors, schedule, communication, writing, business. And so there could have been a lot of questions you've been asking. Things involving family and siblings could have felt more confusing. Perhaps you've been wondering how much involvement you want to keep with your family, or maybe there's been some like real estate matters involving your siblings that you've been helping with, or even siblings and family members that needed more of your attention, required sort of more of you. Now that Venus turns direct, you can experience more clarity in communication. You may notice that things involving family and siblings start to feel less heavy and less confusing. There could have been also opportunities to address the past and maybe discuss some difficult things with siblings and parents. Changes to your living situation that you've been considering because you perhaps switched to working from home, or you've started your own business and so you needed space for maybe your business office in your home. And again, as Venus turns direct, there's going to be more clarity involving those matters, more opportunities to improve your living situation, more opportunities to declutter, more opportunities to streamline your schedule and to improve your business. I can also see this because it's the 4th and the 3rd houses as maybe some like writing projects that you've been working on that involve family in the past. And now again, as Venus turns direct, things start to pick up and you feel more inspired, you feel more driven to write, to speak to, and just sort of have more awareness in terms of where you want to go physically with where you live and sort of creatively with your ideas. If you're seeking more, visit anastasiadoesastrology.com and book your personal reading and register for Natal Astrology Blueprint of the Soul course. By learning astrology, you can create more self-awareness, manifesting the peace within you and manifesting better relationships because you know not to date someone whose Mars squares your Mars. You know what that means. You don't need an astrologer to tell you. You can quickly look at the chart and delineate that and so much more. Register at anastasiadoesastrology.com. Classes begin in September. For the lovely Aquarius rising, Venus is stationing direct in your 2nd house. The retrograde began in your 3rd on March 1st and ends in your 2nd on April 12th. So there could have been some questions around what to do with money. There could have been some financial sort of shuffling around, maybe looking at banks, filing paperwork, starting or dealing with your pension account, investments and things like that. You could have been wondering how to best use the money you have or how to best use the knowledge you have to make more money. So adjustments around resources, around investments, all of that could have been highlighted by the retrograde, as well as potentially your schedule, your relationship with siblings, your communication style, your ideas, all of that could have been in need of a review. When Venus turns direct on April 12th, you can expect more clarity. If you've been waiting for a payment or you've been considering making an investment, now is the time to act and the payment may come through. If you've noticed that, you made some money and then you had to spend more money during the retrograde and maybe it was harder to hold on to earnings, likely that this retrograde brought you some clarity. Now you know which skills you have, which business ideas you want to pursue, which people you want to partner up with, what kind of branding you want to do. And so all of these kind of clarity in terms of values and finances may result in better business matters, better relationships, better communication, and just overall sense of action and direction that I think this retrograde, Venus turning direct can bring you. If you're seeking more, visit anastasiadoesastrology.com to book your in-person consultation and register for Natal Astrology Blueprint of the Soul course. So by learning astrology, you can create more peace inside of you and more confidence. And through that, you can manifest better relationships, better career, better finances, right? Knowing astrology, knowing when to take action, when not to take action, what your chart tells you is best for you, all of that can be a powerful tool. Register at anastasiadoesastrology.com. Classes begin in September. Last but not least, for the beautiful Pisces rising, the retrograde of Venus completes in your 1st house of identity, health, wellness, personality, style, and the retrograde began on March 1st in your 2nd house of money and values. And so the last 6 weeks could have brought up a lot of questions around resources, around debts and payments. Maybe you've worked on paying off a debt. Maybe you've worked on starting an investment account. You've done a lot of research. You could have been questioning kind of your job and how much money you're making, right? There could have been a lot of like insecurity, even potentially financially, as well as maybe new ideas, right? We just had a solar eclipse here. We had Neptune enter Aries on March 30th. So questions of like what's worth investing, questions of making money through creative pursuits, maybe having more stability financially, all of that could have been very kind of prominent front and center in your mind. Now that Venus turns direct, you can expect more clarity. You can expect more self-awareness. All of the matters involving your identity, right? Like you've done some soul searching, so now you know that you want to start that real estate business, or you want to start that YouTube channel, or you want to invest in learning about Reiki, right? There's a lot of possibilities. And with Venus turning direct, also I think like a lot more confidence and self-awareness and clarity. There may be opportunities to take care of your health, to maybe address some health concerns, to improve your style, to even rebrand on some level after you've asked the questions and found some answers. Get ready for exciting developments, I think. So thank you for watching. Share how this resonates. If you're looking for more guidance, visit anastasiadoesastrology.com to book a personal consultation. Natal chart is great as a general introduction. Predictive readings, year ahead, and solar return. Solar return is like a birthday specific reading. Those can give you insight into the year to come. Relationship reading is great for compatibility analysis, and more can be found on my website, as well as register for Natal Astrology Blueprint of the Soul course to create stability and peace within you and help create peaceful and happy and successful relationships, alliances, and opportunities in your life. Classes begin in September. So I hope this video was helpful. I hope your April is going pretty well. All in all, we're done with the eclipses. We're done with retrogrades, especially with this April 12th station direct. There's almost always something going retrograde, but we're nearing the end of the early 2025 darkness. It's not, of course, going to be all just like easy, smooth sailing. There will be some turbulence, but we'll get through it together. I'll talk to you very soon. Enjoy. Bye.